I was uninvited from my own baby shower, so I revealed a family secret that canceled the whole event. The text message arrived at 2:47 in the morning, 8 days before my baby shower. I wasn't supposed to see it. That's what made it so much worse. I'd gotten up to use the bathroom, again, because apparently at 7 months pregnant, your bladder becomes the size of a walnut, and I'd grabbed my phone out of habit, squinting at the bright screen in the darkness of our bedroom. My husband Marcus was still asleep beside me, one arm flung across the pillow where I'd been lying, his breathing deep and steady. The message was in the family group chat, the one called Harper Family Love, with the ridiculous heart emojis that my mother-in-law Diane had insisted on. There were 43 people in that chat. 43. But the message wasn't from Diane. It was from my sister-in-law, Jessica. Just finalized the guest list with Mom. We're at 67 now. I think we should keep it intimate, immediate family only. That means we need to cut some people. I'm thinking we tell Mallory the shower is postponed? She doesn't need to be there for the planning anyway. It's supposed to be a surprise, right? We can just do everything without her there, and she'll never know the difference. What do you all think? I read it 3 times. Then 4. My hand started shaking so badly I nearly dropped the phone. Below Jessica's message, the responses had already begun to roll in. All sent in the dead of night, as if they'd been waiting for this moment, as if they'd been holding their breath for someone to finally say it out loud. That actually makes sense, wrote Marcus's Aunt Beverly. Less stressful for her, too. Pregnancy is hard enough without all the fuss. I agree, added Diane, my own mother-in-law. Mallory's been so hormonal lately, she might not even enjoy it. This way she can just relax and we'll surprise her with everything already done. Plus, wrote Jessica's husband Todd, we can make the real decisions about colors and themes without worrying about her feelings. You know how particular she is. Particular. The word sat in my chest like a stone. I stood there in my bathroom, wearing one of Marcus's old college t-shirts that barely stretched over my swollen belly, staring at my phone as message after message appeared. His cousins? His grandmother? People I'd welcomed into my life. People I'd cooked Thanksgiving dinner for. People I'd stayed up late with at birthday parties and weddings, laughing and sharing stories and building what I thought was family. They were planning my baby shower without me. No, worse than that, they were planning to uninvite me from my own baby shower. To tell me it was postponed, to lie to my face, and then to throw the party anyway while I sat at home alone, believing it wasn't happening. The bathroom suddenly felt too small, too hot. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears, loud and insistent. My daughter, our daughter, mine and Marcus's, did a slow roll inside me, her tiny foot pressing against my ribs as if she could feel my distress. I scrolled up through the chat, my thumb trembling. How long had they been planning this? The conversation went back hours. They'd been messaging since 11 p.m., a full thread of discussion about my shower that had somehow evolved into this. It had started innocently enough, Diane asking about catering options, Jessica suggesting they do a garden party theme. Then someone mentioned the budget, and someone else said they were worried about the guest list getting too big, and somehow, it had spiraled into this, into cutting me out entirely. She won't even notice, Marcus's cousin Rachel had written. Mallory's been so checked out lately anyway. All she talks about is the baby. It'll be nice to have a party that's actually fun for once. Checked out. I'd been checked out because I was growing a human being, because I was exhausted and nauseous, and my body didn't feel like my own anymore. Because every morning I woke up terrified that something would go wrong, that I'd lose her, that I wasn't strong enough, or good enough, or ready enough for this. But I'd never told them that. I'd smiled through every family dinner, laughed at every joke, pretended everything was perfect, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what I'd always done. My parents had died in a car accident when I was 19. My older brother had moved to Singapore for work, and we barely talked anymore. When I met Marcus 3 years ago, I thought I'd finally found what I'd been searching for since I lost my family. He came with this huge, boisterous clan, Sunday dinners at Diane's house, group vacations to the lake, constant text chains and inside jokes, and the kind of casual, comfortable intimacy that comes from knowing people your whole life. I'd thrown myself into being part of it, into earning my place, into proving I belonged. And now they wanted to erase me from my own celebration. I felt something crack inside my chest, something that had been barely holding together. My thumb hovered over the screen. I could type a message right now. I could say I'd seen everything. I could ask them how they could even think about doing this. But what would be the point? They'd already shown me exactly what they thought. They'd already decided. I backed out of the group chat and stood there in the harsh fluorescent light of my bathroom, looking at myself in the mirror above the sink. My face was puffy from pregnancy. My hair was pulled back in a messy bun, and there were dark circles under my eyes that no amount of concealer could hide anymore. I looked exhausted. I looked defeated. I looked like someone who could be easily erased. The baby kicked again, harder this time. And I pressed my hand against my belly, feeling her move beneath my palm. "It's okay," I whispered, even though it wasn't okay, even though nothing felt okay. "It's going to be okay." That's what I'd been telling myself for months now, ever since I'd found out I was pregnant, and everything started to change. The truth was, things had been strange with Marcus's family for a while. Little comments here and there that I'd brushed off. Jessica asking me if I was really ready to be a mother. Diane mentioning how young I still was, how much life I hadn't lived yet. Todd making jokes about how babies ruin marriages. I'd laughed them off, told myself they were just being overprotective, just worried because they loved us. But now, I wondered if it had been something else all along. I got back into bed, but I didn't sleep. I lay there next to Marcus, listening to him breathe, watching the shadows move across the ceiling as cars passed on the street outside. My mind kept circling back to that group chat, to those messages, to the casual cruelty of it all. By the time morning light started filtering through the curtains, I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to confront them. I wasn't going to cry, or beg, or ask them to reconsider. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction of knowing they'd hurt me. I was going to do something else entirely, something that had been buried for 2 years, something I'd promised myself I'd never speak about, something that would burn their perfect family image to the ground. Because I knew a secret about Marcus's family that would change everything. And if they wanted to erase me, if they wanted to pretend I didn't matter, then I was going to show them exactly what happens when you push someone too far. Marcus woke up at 7:30 like always, his alarm chirping from his phone on the nightstand. He rolled over and kissed my forehead, his lips warm and soft against my skin. "Mornin', beautiful," he murmured, his voice still rough with sleep. "How'd you sleep?" "Fine," I lied, forcing a smile. "Same as always." He sat up and stretched, his t-shirt riding up to show the flat plane of his stomach. At 32, Marcus still looked like he had in college, tall and lean, with dark hair that curled at the ends and warm brown eyes that crinkled when he smiled. Everyone always said how lucky I was to have him, how he was such a catch, how I should hold on to him tight. "I was thinking," he said, swinging his legs out of bed. "Maybe we should have dinner at my mom's this weekend. She keeps asking when we're coming over." My stomach clenched. "Sure," I said, keeping my voice light and easy. "That sounds good." He grinned and headed toward the shower, completely oblivious to the fact that his family had spent the night plotting behind my back. Completely unaware that I'd spent the last 5 hours lying awake, planning my revenge. I waited until I heard the water running, then I grabbed my phone again and opened the group chat. There were 17 new messages. They'd kept going after I'd gone back to bed, refining their plan, discussing decorations and food, and who would be responsible for what. "I'll handle keeping Mallory distracted that day," Jessica had written. "Maybe I'll suggest we go get our nails done or something." "Girls' Day." "Perfect," Diane had replied. "This is going to be so much better than if we'd tried to include her in the planning. Trust me, she'll thank us later." I took a screenshot, then another. I saved every single message from the past 24 hours, documenting their entire conversation, their entire betrayal. Then I opened a new message thread, not to the family chat, not to Marcus, but to someone else entirely. To Diane's sister, Catherine. Catherine had never liked Diane. Everyone knew it, though they all pretended otherwise at family gatherings. The two of them had barely spoken in years, some ancient grudge that no one talked about, but everyone knew existed just beneath the surface. But Catherine and I had always gotten along. She'd pulled me aside at my wedding and told me I was too good for this family, that I should run while I still could. I'd laughed it off at the time, thought she was just being dramatic. Now I wondered if she'd been trying to warn me. "Catherine," I typed, my fingers moving quickly across the screen. "I need to talk to you about something important, something about Diane. Can we meet for coffee today?" She responded within minutes. "I've been waiting 2 years for you to figure it out, sweetie. I'll meet you at Bluebird Cafe at 10. And Mallory, bring your armor. You're going to need it." The Bluebird Cafe sat on the corner of 5th and Morrison, a small place with mismatched furniture and local art on the walls. I arrived 15 minutes early, ordered a decaf latte that I knew I wouldn't drink, and took a table in the back corner where I could see the door. My hands were shaking again. They hadn't stopped shaking since I'd left the house that morning, telling Marcus I had a doctor's appointment that he didn't need to come to. Just a routine checkup. Nothing important. He'd kissed me goodbye at the door, told me to text him when I was done, told me he loved me, and I'd said it back automatically, the words feeling hollow in my mouth. Did he know? Had they told him about their plan? Or was he as clueless as I'd been, until those messages had shattered my entire world at 2:47 in the morning? Catherine arrived at exactly 10 o'clock. She was older than Diane by 7 years, with silver-streaked hair cut in a sharp bob, and the kind of elegance that came from not trying too hard. She wore a navy blue blazer and jeans, simple jewelry, and no-nonsense black boots. She sat down across from me and studied my face for a long moment. "You look like hell," she said finally. "Thanks," I managed. "No, I mean it as an observation, not an insult. You look like someone who just had their world ripped apart." She folded her hands on the table. "So, what did they do?" I pulled out my phone and opened the group chat screenshots. I slid the phone across the table without saying anything. Catherine read through them in silence, her expression getting darker with each swipe. When she finished, she handed the phone back and let out a long, bitter laugh. "Of course," she said. "Of course they did. That's exactly who they are." "What do you mean?" "I mean the Harper family has been pulling this kind of shit for generations. Act loving and supportive to your face, then tear you apart the second you're not looking. They did it to me. They did it to Marcus's father before he finally had the sense to divorce Diane. They've done it to every person who's ever tried to marry into that family and didn't fit their exact mold of what they wanted. My throat felt tight. I thought it was just me. I thought I was being too sensitive. No, sweetheart. You're not sensitive. You're finally seeing clearly. Catherine leaned forward, her eyes intense. You said on the phone you wanted to talk about something important. Something about Diane. I'm guessing this isn't just about you venting? I took a breath. This was it. The point of no return. 2 years ago, I said slowly. Right after Marcus and I got engaged, I was at their house helping Diane clean out her attic. She got a phone call and went downstairs to take it, and I found a box. A box of letters. Catherine's expression changed. What kind of letters? Love letters, between Diane and someone named Robert Mitchell, dated from 8 years ago. I met her eyes. While she was still married to Marcus's father. The silence that followed was deafening. Robert Mitchell, Catherine repeated softly. Jesus Christ, she's still seeing him, isn't she? I don't know, maybe. The letters were detailed, explicit. They were planning to run away together, but something stopped them. She wrote about how she couldn't leave her children, how she was trapped, how she loved him, but loved her family too. I swallowed hard. There were at least 50 letters. I only read a few before I heard her coming back. I never told anyone. Why not? Because I wanted them to love me, I whispered. Because I was about to become part of this family, and I thought if I just kept my head down, if I just played along, if I was perfect enough, they'd accept me. And now they're trying to erase me from my own baby shower. Catherine reached across the table and grabbed my hand. Her grip was strong, almost fierce. Listen to me very carefully, she said. Diane has spent her entire life building this image of the perfect family. Perfect mother, perfect home, perfect children. It's all she has. It's all she cares about. And if you expose her affair, if you let everyone know she's been lying to them for years, it will destroy everything she's built. I know. Do you? Because once you do this, there's no going back. They'll hate you. They'll say you're vindictive and cruel. They'll say you're trying to ruin everything because you're hormonal or unstable. They'll close ranks around Diane and push you out completely. They're already pushing me out, I said, and my voice cracked on the words. They're already planning my baby shower without me. They already think I'm nothing. Catherine's eyes softened. I know, honey. I know. So, I might as well go down fighting. I might as well make sure they know I'm not someone who can just be dismissed. I pulled my hand back and wiped at my eyes. I need your help. I need you to tell me everything you know about Robert Mitchell. And I need you to help me figure out how to prove the affair is still happening. Catherine sat back in her chair, and a slow smile spread across her face. It wasn't a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who'd been waiting years for this exact moment. Oh, sweetheart, she said. I thought you'd never ask. It turned out that Robert Mitchell owned a small accounting firm downtown. He'd been doing Diane's taxes for over a decade. That's how they'd met, according to Catherine, a professional relationship that had slowly turned into something else. I found out about it by accident, Catherine explained as we sat in her car outside Robert's office building 3 hours later. Saw them together at a restaurant in the city, holding hands across the table, looking at each other like teenagers. This was right around the time Diane's marriage was falling apart. I confronted her about it, told her she needed to come clean, and she told me to mind my own business. We haven't had a real conversation since. Does Marcus know? Does anyone? No, Diane managed to keep it quiet. She's very good at that. Keeping secrets, maintaining appearances. Her whole life is a performance. Catherine drummed her fingers on the steering wheel. The question is, how do you want to handle this? Do you want to confront her privately? Or do you want to blow it up publicly? I thought about those messages in the group chat. About Jessica's casual cruelty. About Diane agreeing to cut me out of my own celebration. About all of them deciding I was too hormonal, too particular, too much trouble to include. I want everyone to know, I said quietly. I want them all to see who she really is. Then we need proof. Recent proof. Screenshots of old letters aren't enough. They'll say it's ancient history, that she's changed, that you're being petty. Catherine pulled out her own phone. I have a friend who's a private investigator. She owes me a favor. If Diane and Robert are still seeing each other, we can find out. But it'll take time. How much time? A week, maybe 2. The baby shower is in 8 days. Catherine looked at me. Can you wait 8 days? Can you pretend everything is fine with Marcus and his family while we gather evidence? Could I? Could I sit through family dinners and smile and nod and pretend I didn't know that they were all lying to me? Could I look Diane in the eye and not scream about what I'd found? The baby shifted inside me again, a gentle flutter that reminded me exactly what was at stake. This wasn't just about me anymore. This was about my daughter, about the family she'd be born into, about the kind of people who would be around her as she grew up. If I didn't stand up now, if I didn't draw a line, then what was I teaching her? That it was okay to let people walk all over you? That keeping the peace was more important than your own dignity? Yes, I said. I can wait. But Catherine? Yeah? When I do this, when I expose everything, I need it to be devastating. I need it to be something they can't ignore or explain away. Can you help me with that? She reached over and squeezed my shoulder. Honey, I've been waiting to take my sister down for 20 years. Trust me, when we're done, there won't be anything left of her perfect family image but ashes. The next 8 days were the longest of my life. I went to Sunday dinner at Diane's house and watched her smile at me across the table, asking how I was feeling. If the baby was moving much, if I needed anything. Marcus's hand was warm in mine as we sat on her pristine white couch, surrounded by family photos in silver frames, all of them carefully curated to show the image of a happy, functional family. Jessica brought up the baby shower, her voice bright and cheerful. We're still figuring out the date, she said, meeting my eyes without a flicker of guilt. Soon, though, we want to make sure it's perfect for you. I appreciate that, I said, my voice steady even though my heart was racing. I know you're all working so hard on it. Marcus squeezed my hand, completely oblivious. I excused myself to use the bathroom and found myself standing in Diane's upstairs hallway, looking at those family photos again. Marcus as a little boy with a gap-toothed grin. Jessica in her high school graduation gown. Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas mornings and birthday parties. All of it perfect. All of it fake. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Catherine. Got something. Meeting tomorrow at noon. You're going to want to see this. The next day, Catherine spread a series of photographs across the table at Bluebird Cafe. The same table where we'd sat 8 days ago, where this entire plan had begun. The photos showed Diane and Robert Mitchell. Together. Recent. In one, they were having lunch at a restaurant, leaning close together, her hand on his arm. In another, they were walking through a park, his arm around her waist. In another, they were standing outside a hotel, kissing. The timestamps showed they were all taken within the last 2 weeks. "She's still seeing him," Catherine said unnecessarily. My investigator followed her for a week. They meet every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, usually at the Riverside Hotel downtown. They check in under his name, stay for about 2 hours, then leave separately. I stared at the photos, my hands pressed flat on the table to keep them from shaking. "Does anyone else know?" "Not yet, but they will." Catherine pulled out a flash drive. "I've got everything here. Photos, bank records showing the hotel charges, credit card statements. Plus, I managed to get copies of some of their text messages. Very romantic. Very damning." "How did you—" "Don't ask questions you don't want answers to, sweetheart." Catherine's smile was sharp. "The point is, we have everything we need. Now we just have to decide how to use it." I thought about the baby shower that was happening tomorrow. The one I wasn't supposed to attend. The one they thought I didn't know about. An idea began to form. "What if?" I said slowly. "What if I went to the shower anyway? What if I showed up unexpectedly and confronted everyone there?" "That's risky. They could turn it around on you, make you look like the crazy one." "Or," I continued, "what if I did it even better? What if I pretended to be completely surprised, like I had no idea it was happening, like I just happened to stop by Diane's house that day, and then, right in the middle of the party, right when everyone is there celebrating, I revealed everything?" Catherine's eyes lit up. "You want to blow up the baby shower by exposing Diane's affair in front of the entire family?" They wanted to exclude me from my own celebration. They wanted to make decisions about my baby without me there. They wanted to erase me. I met her gaze. "So I'll show up anyway, and I'll make sure no one ever forgets it." "That's nuclear, Mallory. That's scorched earth." "Good," I said, and I meant it. "Let it burn." The day of the baby shower arrived sunny and warm, the kind of perfect spring afternoon that felt like a mockery of my internal storm. Marcus kissed me goodbye that morning, told me he was going to play golf with some friends. I knew he was lying. I knew he was actually going to help set up for the party. "Have fun," I told him, and watched him drive away. Jessica called at 10 o'clock. "Hey!" Her voice was artificially bright. "So, I know this is last minute, but do you want to get your nails done today? I'm feeling like I need a girl's day." "Actually," I said, keeping my voice casual, "I'm not feeling great today. I think I'm just going to rest at home." "Oh." She sounded relieved. "Okay, no problem. Feel better." She hung up quickly, probably already texting the group chat to let them know I was safely out of the way. I looked at myself in the mirror. I'd chosen my outfit carefully, a soft blue dress that showed off my pregnant belly, my hair down in loose waves, minimal makeup so I'd look sweet and innocent and harmless. Perfect. Catherine picked me up at 1 o'clock, and we drove to Diane's house in silence. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might be sick. My hands were clammy. The baby was doing gymnastics inside me, as if she could sense my anxiety. "You're sure about this?" Catherine asked as we pulled up to the curb 2 houses down. "No," I admitted, "but I'm doing it anyway." The driveway was full of cars. Through the windows, I could see people moving around inside. Balloons, streamers, a banner that read, "Welcome Baby Harper," in pink and gold letters. My baby shower. The one I'd been excluded from. The one they thought I'd never know about. I got out of the car and walked up the front path, Catherine beside me. My legs felt like they might give out. But I kept moving forward, 1 foot in front of the other, until I was standing at the front door. I didn't knock. I just opened it and walked inside. The living room was full of people, at least 60 of them, maybe more. all of Marcus's family, all dressed up, holding drinks and little plates of food, talking and laughing beneath white paper lanterns and cascading ribbons. The entire room went silent when they saw me. Diane was standing by the fireplace, mid-conversation with Marcus's Aunt Beverly. Her face went white. Jessica dropped her glass. It shattered on the hardwood floor, champagne spreading out in a glittering pool. Marcus rushed over, his expression caught between panic and confusion. "Mallory, what are you? I thought you weren't feeling well." "I felt better," I said brightly, looking around the room at all those shocked faces. "And I realized I couldn't miss my own baby shower, could I?" The silence stretched out, thick and suffocating. No one knew what to say. They'd been caught, and they knew it, and there was no way to explain this away. "Surprise?" I added, my voice soft and deadly. Diane recovered first, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Mallory, honey, this is supposed to be a surprise. You've ruined it. We were going to—" "Going to what, Diane?" I interrupted, my voice still pleasant. "Tell me the shower was postponed, and then throw it anyway without me? Plan my entire celebration without my input? Decide I was too hormonal and too particular to be included?" More silence. Then frantic whispering started up around the room. Marcus's face had gone from confused to horrified. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the group chat," I said, pulling out my phone. "The one where your entire family decided I wasn't worth including in my own baby shower. Would you like me to read the messages out loud?" "Mallory, this isn't—" Jessica started. "We can make the real decisions about colors and themes without worrying about her feelings," I read from my screenshot. "You know how particular she is." I looked up at her. "That was you, Jessica. And this one? Mallory's been so hormonal lately. She might not even enjoy it. That was from you, Diane." Diane's face had gone from white to red. "You're taking this out of context." "Am I? Because it seems pretty clear to me. You all decided I wasn't worth inviting to my own celebration. You all decided I was too much trouble." I looked around the room at all of them. "Every single one of you agreed to lie to me." Marcus grabbed my arm. "Mal, let's talk about this outside." "No." I pulled away from him. "I'm done talking. I'm done being quiet. I'm done pretending everything is fine when your family treats me like I'm disposable." "We don't treat you like you're disposable," Diane said, her voice sharp now, the mask slipping. "We were trying to do something nice for you. We were trying to take the stress off your shoulders. By excluding me completely? By making me think the shower was canceled?" I felt tears burning in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. "I lost my parents when I was 19, Diane. I don't have a mother to help me plan these things. I don't have siblings nearby. All I have is this family, and you all decided I didn't matter enough to include." Some of the faces around the room looked uncomfortable now. Guilty, but not enough of them. Not nearly enough. "I think you're being overdramatic," Diane said coldly. "This is exactly why we didn't want you involved in the planning. You're too emotional. You can't see that we were trying to help." And that was it. That was the moment I'd been waiting for. "You want to talk about being emotional?" I said quietly. "About not being able to see clearly?" "Let's talk about that, Diane. Let's talk about secrets and lies and people who pretend to be something they're not." Her expression changed. Just slightly. A flicker of fear. "I don't know what you mean." "Robert Mitchell," I said. The name hung in the air like a bomb. Diane's face went absolutely bloodless. Around the room, people started murmuring again, confused, asking each other who Robert Mitchell was. "Who?" Marcus asked, looking between his mother and me. Robert Mitchell, I repeated. The man your mother has been having an affair with for the past 8 years. The man she's still seeing every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon at the Riverside Hotel downtown? The room exploded. Everyone started talking at once. Shocked exclamations, denial, questions. Marcus was staring at his mother like he'd never seen her before. Jessica had her hand over her mouth. That's not true, Diane said, but her voice was shaking. That's absolutely not true. She's lying. Am I? I pulled the flash drive from my purse and held it up. Because I have photographs, recent ones. I have hotel records and credit card statements and text messages. I have everything. Catherine appeared in the doorway then, as we'd planned. She walked calmly through the crowd and stood beside me. It's true, she said, addressing the room. I've known about it for years. I tried to warn you all, but no one wanted to listen. Diane has been lying to this family for almost a decade. She's been playing the perfect mother while sneaking around behind everyone's backs. Diane was shaking now, her hands clenched into fists. You can't do this. You have no right. I have every right, I said. You wanted to exclude me from my family? Fine. But you don't get to do it while pretending to be something you're not. You don't get to judge me for being too hormonal or too particular when you've been lying to everyone here for years. Marcus's father, Diane's ex-husband Tom, pushed through the crowd. He lived out of state now, and I was surprised to see him there. But Jessica must have invited him. Is this true, Diane? His voice was quiet, dangerous. All those years ago, when you said you wanted to work on our marriage, when you said you wanted to stay together for the kids, were you already with him? Diane's silence was answer enough. Tom laughed, a bitter, broken sound. Jesus Christ, all this time, all these years I blamed myself for our marriage falling apart. All the therapy, all the fighting, all the times you said I wasn't enough. You were already fucking someone else. Dad, Marcus said weakly, but Tom ignored him. You destroyed our family, Tom said to Diane. You destroyed me, and you let me think it was my fault. Around the room, I could see the realization dawning on people's faces. This wasn't just about an affair. This was about years of lies, years of manipulation, years of Diane crafting this perfect image while her real life was something else entirely. The perfect family was crumbling. Jessica was crying now, her careful makeup running down her face. Marcus was still standing frozen, looking between his mother and me like he couldn't process what was happening. I want everyone to leave, Diane said, her voice shaking with barely controlled rage. Get out of my house. All of you. This isn't how I wanted this to go, I said, and I meant it. Despite everything, despite all my anger, I felt a strange sadness looking at her. I just wanted you to see me. I just wanted to matter. You've destroyed everything, Diane hissed. You've destroyed this family. My son will never forgive you for this. I looked at Marcus. His face was pale, his eyes shell-shocked. We'd been married for 2 years. I was carrying his daughter, and I had no idea what he was thinking in that moment. I'm sorry, I said to him, to the room, to everyone. I'm sorry it came to this, but I won't be erased. I won't be lied to, and I won't let my daughter grow up learning that it's okay to treat people this way. Then I turned and walked out of that house, Catherine beside me, leaving behind the wreckage of my baby shower and maybe my marriage, and definitely any chance I had of being part of that family again. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Marcus came home 3 hours later. I was sitting on our couch, still in my blue dress, my hands wrapped around a cup of tea that had long since gone cold. He stood in the doorway and looked at me, and I couldn't read his expression at all. Did you know? I asked quietly. About the plan to exclude me from the shower? No, he said immediately. I swear to God, Mallory, I had no idea. My mom and Jessica told me they were planning a surprise. I thought you were going to be there. I thought they were just keeping the details secret from you. They were going to tell me it was postponed. They were going to let me sit at home alone while they all celebrated without me. He moved further into the room and sank down onto the couch beside me, his head in his hands. I read the messages, he said. After you left, Jessica showed me. I couldn't believe it. My own family? His voice broke. How could they do that to you? I don't know. And my mom? He looked up at me, his eyes red. Is it really true? About the affair? I handed him the flash drive. Catherine had her investigated. It's all there. He didn't open it. He just sat holding it, staring at it like it might explode. My entire childhood was a lie, he whispered. All those times she told my dad he wasn't good enough. All those times she said he was the reason they were unhappy. She was with someone else the whole time. I'm sorry. Are you? He looked at me then, really looked at me. Are you sorry you exposed her? Are you sorry you blew up my whole family? I'm sorry you're hurting, I said carefully. I'm not sorry I told the truth. We sat in silence for a long time. I could hear the clock ticking on the wall, could hear cars passing outside, could hear the whole world continuing on while ours fell apart. I don't know if I can forgive you for this, Marcus said finally. The words hit me like a physical blow. For what? For defending myself? For refusing to be treated like I don't matter? For the way you did it, for ambushing everyone at the shower, for humiliating my mother in front of the entire family. He stood up, pacing now. There had to be a better way, Mallory. You could have come to me first. We could have figured this out together. Would you have believed me? Or would you have told me I was overreacting, that I was being too sensitive, that I should just let it go? He didn't answer, which was answer enough. They hurt me, I said, and now the tears were coming, finally, hot and fast down my cheeks. They excluded me and mocked me and lied to me. They made me feel like I was nothing, like I didn't deserve to be part of my own child's celebration. I know, and that was wrong. But what you did... He shook his head. My mom is going to lose everything. Her reputation, her standing in the community, maybe even her relationship with Robert now that it's public. You've destroyed her life. She destroyed her own life with her choices, I shot back. I just told the truth. The truth can be a weapon, Mallory, and you used it like one. He went upstairs after that, and I heard our bedroom door close. Not quite a slam, but close enough. I sat on the couch alone, one hand on my belly, feeling my daughter move inside me. She'd be born in 2 months. She'd come into this world already surrounded by broken relationships and bitter resentment and a family that might never speak to each other again. What had I done? The next few weeks were brutal. Marcus moved into the guest room. He was polite, distant, present, but not really there. We communicated about logistics, doctor's appointments, what we needed to buy for the baby, who would handle what when she arrived. But we didn't talk about anything real. We didn't talk about his family or the shower or what any of this meant for us. The Harper family fractured into factions. Some people reached out to me, apologizing for their part in the group chat, saying they'd been wrong. Marcus's cousin Rachel sent me a long email explaining that she'd felt pressured to go along with Diane and Jessica, that she'd never really wanted to exclude me. Others cut me off completely. Jessica blocked me on all social media. Diane wouldn't answer any of my attempts to reach out. And then there were the people who took Diane's side entirely, who said I was vindictive and cruel, who said I'd gone too far, who said pregnancy hormones had made me unstable and I should be ashamed of myself. The worst part was that I started to believe them. Late at night, lying awake while Marcus slept in another room, I'd replay that moment over and over. Standing in Diane's living room, saying Robert Mitchell's name, watching everything explode. Had I really needed to do it that way? Had I really needed to be so public, so brutal? Could I have just confronted Diane privately? Could I have told Marcus about the group chat and let him handle his family? But then I'd remember those messages. She won't even notice. All she talks about is the baby. It'll be nice to have a party that's actually fun for once. And I'd remember that they'd all agreed to lie to me. Every single one of them had seen that plan and said yes. Every single one of them had been willing to exclude me from my own celebration. They hadn't just hurt me once. They'd been hurting me slowly, steadily, for months or maybe years, death by 1,000 cuts, until I'd finally fought back. Did that make me wrong? Did that make me the villain? I didn't know anymore. At 36 weeks pregnant, I went to my OB appointment alone. Marcus was at work, and I hadn't asked him to come. We'd stopped doing things together unless we absolutely had to. My doctor, Dr. Yang, did the usual measurements and checks, then sat back and looked at me seriously. "How are you doing, Mallory? Emotionally, I mean." "Fine," I said automatically. "Are you sure? Because your blood pressure is elevated and you've lost weight since your last visit instead of gaining it. That's concerning this late in pregnancy." I looked down at my hands, at the wedding ring I was still wearing, even though I wasn't sure what it meant anymore. "Things are hard right now," I admitted. "With my husband's family." "Do you have support? People you can talk to?" "Not really. My family is mostly gone. And Marcus's family." I stopped. "It's complicated." Dr. Yang was quiet for a moment, then said, "You know, I see this sometimes. Women who are so focused on making everyone else happy that they forget to take care of themselves, who swallow their hurt and their anger until it makes them sick." "I didn't swallow it," I said. "I exploded. I destroyed everything." "Did you? Or did you just refuse to be destroyed?" I looked up at her, surprised. "I don't know the details of your situation," she continued, "but I do know this. You're about to become a mother, and that baby is going to watch how you let people treat you. She's going to learn from your example what's acceptable and what isn't. So ask yourself, what do you want to teach her?" That conversation stayed with me. What did I want to teach my daughter? That it was okay to let people hurt you as long as you kept smiling? That family meant never standing up for yourself? That peace was more important than dignity? Or that sometimes, when people push you too far, you have to push back? That the truth matters, even when it's ugly? That you're worth fighting for, even if it costs you everything? I thought about my own mother, who'd been so gentle and kind, who'd always tried to see the best in everyone. I thought about how she'd taught me to be considerate, to think of others first, to smooth over conflicts instead of creating them. But she'd also taught me to know my own worth, to never let anyone make me feel small. She would have hated what I did at that baby shower. She would have been horrified by the public humiliation, the cruelty of it. But she also would have understood why I did it. The realization hit me in the middle of the night, a week before my due date. I was lying in bed, unable to sleep because the baby was pressing on my ribs, and my back ached, and my mind wouldn't stop spinning. I didn't regret telling the truth. I regretted how I'd told it. I regretted the spectacle, the public explosion, the way I'd used Diane's secrets as a weapon. But the truth itself? That needed to be said. I got up and padded down the hall to the guest room. I knocked softly on the door. "Marcus." A pause, then, "Come in." He was sitting up in bed, his laptop open, though he closed it when I entered. We looked at each other in the dim light from the hallway. "Can we talk?" I asked. "Yeah," he said. "I think we need to." I sat down on the edge of the bed, leaving space between us. "I'm sorry," I said. Not for telling the truth, but for the way I did it. For ambushing everyone at the shower, for making it into a spectacle. That wasn't fair to you, and it wasn't the right way to handle things. He was quiet for a long time. Then, "I'm sorry too, for not seeing what my family was doing to you, for not being more aware of how they treated you. Did you really not know about the group chat?" I swear I didn't, but I should have. I should have been paying better attention. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I knew meant he was struggling. "The thing is, Mal, I grew up with this family. Their dysfunction is normal to me. My mom's need to control everything, Jessica's passive-aggressive comments, the way they all gossip about each other. That's just how they are. I learned to tune it out. But I'm not you. I don't have years of experience navigating it. I just have them excluding me from my own baby shower." "I know." He reached out and took my hand. The first time he'd voluntarily touched me in weeks. "And I'm so sorry that happened. After I saw those messages, I confronted my mom and Jessica. I told them what they did was unforgivable." "What did they say?" "My mom tried to justify it. Said she was trying to protect you from stress. Jessica just cried and said she felt pressured by Mom to go along with it." He shook his head. "I don't know if I believe either of them. I don't know if I even know who my family really is anymore. Because of what I exposed about your mom? Because of everything. The affair, the lies, the way they treated you. It's like I'm seeing them clearly for the first time, and I don't like what I see." We sat there together, hands linked, the baby moving between us. "I miss you," I whispered. "I miss us." "I miss us too," he said. "But I don't know how we come back from this." "Maybe we don't come back. Maybe we move forward instead. Maybe we build something new." He pulled me closer, and I leaned against him, feeling his warmth, his solidity. For the first time in weeks, I felt like maybe we'd be okay. Not the same as before, but okay. "I love you," he said against my hair. "Even when I'm angry, even when I don't understand your choices, I love you." "I love you too," I said. "And I love this baby. And I want us to be a family. Just the three of us, if that's what it takes." "It might be what it takes," he admitted. "I don't know if I can have a relationship with my mom after everything that's come out. I don't know if I can trust her anymore." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. You didn't break my family, Mallory. You just showed me it was already broken." Our daughter was born 3 days later. It wasn't planned. My water broke at 2 a.m, 3 weeks before my due date, and suddenly everything was chaos, and pain, and terror, and Marcus holding my hand and telling me I could do this. I was strong enough. We were almost there. Lily Grace Harper came into the world at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, screaming and perfect and absolutely beautiful. The first time I held her, wrapped in a white hospital blanket with her tiny fists waving in the air. I understood what my mother must have felt when she held me. This overwhelming, terrifying, all-consuming love. This willingness to do anything, sacrifice anything, destroy anything to protect this tiny person. And I knew, without question, that I'd made the right choice. Maybe not the right way. Maybe not with the right words or the right timing or the right approach. But standing up for myself, refusing to be erased, teaching my daughter through my actions that she was worth fighting for, that was right. Marcus was crying when he held her, his big hands so careful around her small body. "She's perfect," he kept saying. "She's absolutely perfect." "Do you want to call your family?" I asked. "Let them know she's here?" He looked at me, and there was such pain in his eyes. "I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready." "You don't have to be ready. But she deserves to know her grandparents, even if they're complicated, even if they've made mistakes." "Like we all have?" "Like we all have," I agreed. In the end, he made the call. He told Diane about Lily, sent her a photo, invited her to meet her granddaughter. She came to the hospital that evening, alone. No Jessica, no extended family. Just Diane standing awkwardly in the doorway of our room, holding a teddy bear, and looking older than I'd ever seen her. "Can I come in?" she asked. Marcus looked at me. I nodded. Diane approached the bed slowly, her eyes on Lily in my arms. "She's beautiful," she whispered. "Do you want to hold her?" I asked. She looked shocked, like she'd expected me to refuse. "Can I?" I transferred Lily into her grandmother's arms and watched as Diane's face crumpled, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I'm so sorry," she said, not looking at me, her eyes on the baby. "I'm sorry for everything. For the group chat, for excluding you, for all of it. You deserved better. You deserve better." "Yes," I said simply. "I do. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect things to go back to how they were. But I want to be in my granddaughter's life, if you'll let me." I looked at Marcus. He was watching his mother with Lily, his expression complicated, hurt and anger and love all mixed together. "There will have to be rules," I said. "Boundaries. No more secret group chats or talking about me behind my back. No more trying to control how Marcus and I parent. No more lies." "I understand. And if you break those rules, you're out. I won't give you another chance." "I understand," she repeated, and this time she looked at me. Really looked at me, like she was seeing me as a person instead of an inconvenience. "I was wrong about you. I thought you were weak. I thought you'd just accept whatever we did because you wanted to fit in." "But you're not weak. You're one of the strongest people I've ever met." "I'm not strong," I said. "I'm just stubborn, and I'm tired of pretending I don't matter." She smiled, sad and broken. "You matter. You've always mattered. I'm sorry it took me so long to see it." It's been 6 months since Lily was born. 6 months since that disastrous baby shower. Since I revealed Diane's secret. Since everything fell apart and started slowly piecing back together. Things aren't perfect. They'll probably never be perfect. Diane and I have a tentative relationship. She comes over once a week to see Lily, and we're polite to each other, sometimes even warm. She's in therapy now, working through her own issues, trying to understand why she spent so many years lying. She and Robert broke up. He wasn't interested in a relationship once it became public and messy. Jessica and I don't talk. She made her choice, sided with her mother completely, and I've accepted that we'll never be close. Some relationships can't be salvaged. Marcus's extended family has split into factions. Some of them reach out, some of them don't. We've started hosting our own holiday dinners, just the three of us, building our own traditions instead of trying to fit into theirs. And Marcus and I are good. Not the same as we were before. That innocence is gone. That naive belief that love and family could be simple and uncomplicated. But we're stronger now. We're honest now. We fight and we talk and we work through things instead of pretending they don't exist. Catherine comes over every Sunday for brunch. She's Lily's honorary aunt, the one person who stood by me when everything fell apart. She tells me I did the right thing, that I shouldn't second-guess myself. But late at night, when I'm holding Lily and watching her sleep, I still wonder, did I do the right thing? Or did I just hurt people because I was hurt? Was I defending myself? Or was I seeking revenge? Is there even a difference? I think about my own mother, who believed in kindness above all else, who taught me to see the best in people, to give grace, to forgive. But she also taught me to stand tall, to know my worth, to never let anyone make me small. I think she'd understand why I did what I did, even if she wouldn't have done it the same way. I think she'd tell me that life is complicated, that people are complicated, that there aren't always clear answers about right and wrong. I think she'd tell me that I'm doing the best I can, and sometimes that has to be enough. Lily stirs in my arms, her tiny hand wrapping around my finger. She has Marcus's eyes and my stubborn chin, and she's going to grow up in a world that will try to tell her she doesn't matter, that she should be quiet, that she should make herself smaller to make other people comfortable. But I'm going to teach her differently. I'm going to teach her that her voice matters, that standing up for herself isn't selfish, that sometimes you have to burn things down before you can build something better. I'm going to teach her that family isn't just blood. It's the people who show up, who tell the truth, who love you even when it's hard. And I'm going to teach her that she's worth fighting for. Always. Even if it costs everything. Even if it hurts. Even if the whole world tells her she's wrong, because she matters. And so do I. So here's my question to you, to anyone who's listening, to everyone who's judged me, or supported me, or wondered what they would have done in my place. Was I wrong to expose Diane's affair at my baby shower? Should I have handled it differently? Was I defending myself, or was I just being vindictive? Because I honestly still don't know. Some days, I'm sure I did the right thing. Some days I'm consumed with guilt. Most days, I'm somewhere in between. They uninvited me from my own baby shower. They mocked me, excluded me, lied to me. So I revealed a secret that destroyed their perfect family image. Did I go too far? Or did I go exactly far enough? What would you have done? Tell me in the comments below. I genuinely want to know. And if you're still here, if you made it through this entire story, please subscribe. Please let me know what you think, because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. And maybe your perspective is the one that will finally help me understand whether I'm the hero of this story or the villain. Maybe I'm both. Maybe we all are.